So as you may already have heard, today Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed a special counsel to investigate the many crimes that our seditious and traitorous ex-president has committed. And the reaction out there is pretty mixed because, rightfully so, you can make the case that he could have appointed a special counsel to establish the distance that he's seeking to create, to reduce bias. He could have done this back in 2021. However, back in 2021, the January 6th committee was coming together, and my sense was that he was waiting to see what they would unearth and therefore, in a sense, get cover from their investigation and therefore reduce his bias. Problem is that since he's not granting Jack Smith complete independence, he's still the one that is going to make the final decision. And so he's unlikely to avoid all kinds of criticism on this account. And this is well reflected in his chart of Merrick Garland, because with a Scorpio sun at 21 degrees plus Scorpio, Saturn is headed straight for it in December. And so odds are that until the new year, he's going to hear all kinds of criticism. However, then we have the chart of the orange menace. And there, the news is not so good because it's a bit of a by hook or by crook situation. Maybe it's going to be fast, maybe it's going to be slow. It doesn't look good to me at all because you look at today's alignments, the Neptune transiting through his 8th sign, which has been there for quite a while already, is getting the trigger from transiting Mars and Gemini near Trump's sun and opposite his moon. But as a fine point, the moon today is in the Virgo degrees that in a sense completes a grand cross, where that entire alignment is ignited, so to speak. So this is pointing to the seriousness of the matter, but perhaps even more importantly, is the fact that Saturn, in its transit, will move into Pisces, that 8th sign, in 2023, where it'll hang out for 3 solid years and move toward triggering the sun and moon in the same way that Neptune is doing so now. But Saturn is a lot more dangerous because Saturn is the accountability planet. In a very real sense, it's often the planet that comes in to finish the job. And since Saturn originates in Trump's 12th sign, it is a very dangerous planet in the context of having obviously committed many prosecutable crimes. Now, it is said that for Jack Smith, the easiest one to prove, to prosecute, to litigate, to indict on would be the most recent flagrant crime, that the mendacious cockroach committed when he took it upon himself to cart a bunch of boxes with highly confidential, secret, super top secret documents, etc. So that's the easiest, and you would think that this is what he would likely do, in which case we may not be that far away from initial recommendations that would get Trump in major trouble. It is also said that the matter of the January 6th insurrection is not only more difficult to prove, even though, to my mind, it's really pretty obvious. Nevertheless, it's more difficult, and so that could take longer. But one thing that is also mentioned is that the requirements as stipulated for Jack Smith are not only pointing at Trump, but explicitly say they don't include the people they're already prosecuting that assaulted the Capitol, the MAGA nuts, but they include anyone else not part of that crew, meaning people like Mark Meadows, Eastman, Clark, the Kraken lady. So, as a result, my guess is this is going to produce, in all likelihood, all kinds of indictments, including Trump, although, as I say, From the point of view of Trump being seriously defanged, my guess is that'll come a lot sooner, given that even though I may say Saturn takes a while to get to that point, doesn't have to get to that point. Just even entering Pisces is incredibly threatening. Not to mention that I brought up the position of Eris in its transit, very, very slow, up in degrees where it's squaring its Venus, but more critically, that's a legal domain, the place of Aries in this chart where Eris is parked, and it's going to be there for a long, long time, like till the next decade. So he's not getting out of this. That Eris will also correlate with women as a gender taking him down is, you could call it a parallel or a separate issue, doesn't matter. But the legality of it, the fact that it's in that house, points to another strong indicator that this guy is going down. So that's the bottom line. And even though, as I say, there are some disappointing elements to this in terms of the delay, I still think this man is spiraling downward and there is no way he can get out of it.